We should actively work to bridge the gaps between different groups, celebrating our diversity while emphasizing our shared values and aspirations as Nigerians. We must also strengthen our national symbols and traditions, the Nigerian flag, the national anthem, the national pledge, to be recognized and promoted as national symbols and powerful reminders of our collective identity and values. We should restore and promote the old tradition of the regular and purposeful use of the national anthem and pledge in our schools, in public institutions, at community events. Additionally, we should celebrate and preserve our rich cultural heritage, promoting a stronger connection to our history and identity. The media and public figures play crucial roles in shaping our national narrative. We should work closely with the media to highlight positive stories of patriotism, not promote to envisage the protests on August 10 by unknown hands. Civic engagement and national achievement. Whenever we promote patriotic role models, we inspire ourselves to take pride in our country and contribute to its development. In conclusion, my esteemed audience, reviving patriotism in our great nation is a task that falls to each of us. It requires a fundamental shift in our mindset and behavior, from the halls of government to the streets, from the cities to the villages. We must all work together to foster a sense of national pride and commitment to our country's progress. The challenges we face are significant, but they are not unsurmountable. We can rekindle the flame of patriotism in our country if we address these issues head-on by promoting good governance, promoting unity, investing in education, addressing economic challenges, and celebrating our national identity. We must also consider how far our nation is driven by merit in her public and private life. How many young people get employed in private and public spaces on merit rather than on who they know or where they come from? How many people move up their career ladder based on merit rather than on who they know, their creed or tribe? How many young men and women have unfettered opportunities to pursue their dreams, their careers or occupations based on what they can offer rather than on who they know or where they come from? The questions are indeed endless. The truth is that this nation is not largely merit-driven, and that is our major burn. Let me illustrate this unfortunate reality with a true life story that represents the lot of many folks. Two boys were born the same year in the same city in Nigeria, but to two parents from different parts of the country. They attended the same secondary school and sat the common entrance examination to Unity Secondary Schools the same year. One scored 250 in the exam, and the other scored 120. The one that scored 250 was not admitted, but the one with 120 was admitted. So why the one, hold on. So why the one who scored 120, went to a federal school, a federal government college? The one with 220 went to a community secondary school in his state. Both finished secondary school the same year and took the joint admission and matriculation board exam. Both applied to study law in the first generation universities. The one who went to a federal government college scored 118 in JAM, while the one who went to a community school scored 237. The one with 118 was admitted to the first generation university of his choice, while the one who scored 230 was not. He eventually got admission to a university owned by his own state. Again, both graduated the same year in law, with the one who went to a state university bagging a first class, while his friend made a third class. Both were called to the bar the same year. Again, the third class graduate immediately got a federal job, while his class friend remained jobless, who bagged first class. Later, he became a charge and bail lawyer for lack of job to do. 12 years after the call to bar, the charge and bail lawyer had a matter in a federal high court. When the judge entered the courtroom, guess what? It was his childhood who met his class friend that was the judge. The question is, could this scenario have occurred if our system was merit-driven? The answer is that, of course, you know. Granted that our system must find a way to ensure that firebrand intelligent young people are not frustrated. There are many in this bracket as we speak, and it doesn't speak well of our nation and our Nigerianness. I believe that there should be a way to balance this to ensure the accommodation of many. Government could initiate a policy to grant automatic scholarships to those who score a certain grade in JAM. Say, for instance, those who score 300 and above, or those within the bracket of the best 0.05% performance. Similarly, the government can make it a standing policy that those who graduate with first class in federal universities will be given automatic jobs. State government should do the same for those graduating from their state universities. I actually did that with those who made first class in law in both Imo State University and the law school. They were given automatic jobs in the state. I'm convinced that adopting such policies will ensure that our brightest and best brains are not allowed to be frustrated, just like the case of the man in the pathetic story I just narrated. We need to create enough space for everyone to thrive, and this should emphasize merit. Herein comes the need to take another look at our federal project, which in my view is currently skewed. We need to create sufficient space for all tribes and tongues in the land to thrive without impeding the speed or space of order. This is why the need to rejig our federal project may be inevitable. If we do, we would have gone a long way in addressing the root of the palpable despair of a good number of our people who have lost confidence that the present federal structure is capable of protecting their interests. This is cogent, because when we take this needful step, we will have ensured that more powers are not only devolved to the states, but more responsibilities, space, and resources also, which will be enough to accommodate the yearnings of our people, particularly the teeming population of the youth. Besides, by doing so, we will be true to the creed of our new national anthem, that though tribe and tongue may differ, in brotherhood we stand. And I dare to add that when we do, we will find that the Nigerians we seek, who love their country fervently, and who will be ready to make sacrifices for her, are indeed everywhere. As George McGowan once said, the highest patriotism is not a blind acceptance of official policy, but a love of one's country deep enough to call her to higher planes. Ladies and gentlemen, from the foregoing, it must be obvious that we all have a duty to find and reclaim our fellow compatriots, including those in the diaspora. Speak to their consciences. Let them understand the value of being loyal to the country. Let them not be incited by agents of the system, agents of the government. We must engage them all over in the task of building the Nigerian nation as part of responsibility as true patriots. Finally, I want to leave you with the words of Adela Stevenson. Patriotism is not a short and frenzied outburst of emotion, but the tranquil and steady dedication of a lifetime The task of our generation is to find or build this category of patriotic Nigerians, those who are the Nigerians the nation needs to survive. I thank you again for the privilege to lead this conversation on patriotism here at the platform of this prestigious club, the oldest indigenous club in our beloved country. May God bless all of us. Long live the Yoruba Tennis Club. Long live Nigeria. Long live Federal Republic of Nigeria. Long live the chairman of Yoruba Force.
It will no doubt be a good material for the need to rejig our governance architecture. As you may have heard in the course of proceedings here, Yoruba Tennis Club, founded almost a century ago, was premised on the need for truth and social justice. Public lectures such as this is a platform that has been variously used over the years to bring to attention important issues that can promote communal cohesion and happiness of the people. For those who listened with rapt attention to His Excellency's delivery, you must have noticed one constant factor: the human resources. When you talk of the attributes of a state, a nation, population it is, Nigeria has it. We have territory, we have sovereignty. Those are elements of modern nation states. But most of the conclusions were anchored on the need to consciously channel the human resource to make for a better society. Without bugging you much, there are some sound bites that I will bring again to your attention. Part of it was that only those with a passion for social justice in the land will promote communal prosperity. And today's lecture has largely addressed these contradictions in the Nigerian society. He provides ways forward to make it better. Also, he highlighted the fact that Nigerians generally love their country. All the leadership needs to do is to mobilize, motivate them, and guide them to a better society. He highlighted the need for accountability, purposeful leadership, and responsibility, which should be the beacon of hope. Incidentally, he is a little hope, and he is in the renewed hope agenda. So in furtherance of all this, we should rebuild the nation, utilizing those elements he highlighted. You may have noticed that in addition to the current challenges, many attributed this to what is considered a faulty extant governance architecture. And many of the examples that His Excellency highlighted, they bordered on this. So, Yoruba Tennis Club has always been in the forefront of the need to tell it as it is to whomsoever is in power, with a view to having a more just socio-economic society. Part of His Excellency's submissions were the urgent need to review the extant inadequacies which he copiously highlighted. Patriotism or love of one's country reflects in special affection, issue of personal identification, willingness to sacrifice one's life for country's good. Interestingly enough, I spent 33 years in the Nigerian Armed Forces, and it's saddening that from the statistics that His Excellency highlighted, not so many are willing to go. That means the present institutions require some reform. We have to say a second look at all this, but I commend to everyone this doctoral thesis of a lecture for us to read, digest, and then inform, articulate the issues to be submitted anytime we choose to rejig the country's governance architecture. So, since time has been well spent, it seems a bit on the long side, and the lecture appeared to have been well taken, we will allow for only 2 comments from either of the 2 aisles. Does anybody want to make a comment or a little contribution, or do I take it that it's all understood? Yes, the gentleman here. Will you please get in the mic?
Your Excellency, the Governor of Ekiti State, Your Majesty, distinguished ladies and gentlemen. My comment is that I am here as the head of service of Imo State with representatives of the body of permanent secretaries to give confirmation, real-life confirmation, to what His Excellency has said in his paper. Real life in the sense that he met an Imo State civil service that was not strong enough for what he expected. And so when we talk about patriotism, citizen participation, that is the very reason the body of permanent secretary said, you must be here. Because he has done it in healthcare provision, he has done it in salary payment, he has done it in training and retraining. And that is what we are expecting that he's doing here for all Nigerians. And so, Your Excellency, we thank you for this power to speak truth to power. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, I just want one message. That message is that all of us have listened to this brilliant paper. And as you rightly said, it's a doctoral thesis. If this is a university, we could give him a doctorate degree today. But my point is here. He wouldn't be the first person to speak this way. And he probably will be not the last person. The question is, when these things are spoken, we should internalize it. Not to be thinking that it's the other man who should do it. Everybody has a way of pushing patriotism or the things that can bring social equity, equality to somebody else. My point, Mr. Chairman, is that today everybody living here has a small space he controls, has a little constituency. Can we act in that constituency the Nigerian that we want? Can we build it in that constituency, irrespective of what everybody else is doing? If we continue to do that day for day, Nigeria will become that country we need. Thank you so much. Thank you.
I would like to call on our river trustee, who is here in representative capacity on behalf of the Chairman Board of Trustees, Brother Dr. Femi Okunu, SAN CON, who himself is a man of caliber. May I call on Brother Sigismund Babashi Joseph, SAN, to give the closing remarks and also make a presentation to the guest lecturer, Brother Joseph.
Brethren of Yoruba Tennis Club, long live our sisters, long live our guests.
I bring you good tidings from the Chairman, Board of Trustees, Alhaji Femi Okuno, SANCON. Well, as you all know, he's in his 90s, and there's a limit to his moving around. Today's lecturer, Senator Uzodimma, thank you so much for this insightful and thought-provoking lecture. I'm not surprised. I haven't listened to your profile being read. Very deep lecture. And I am sure we will all walk away with thoughts in our mind. One of the speakers mentioned just the last speaker said, look, don't just listen and walk away. Practice what you preach. Practice what you preach. We should all go back home today with a few things. Number one, the contents of Senator Uzodimma's lecture. Take it back to your communities. I said it earlier, practice what you preach. Take it back. Reflect on it. And above all, let us engage amongst ourselves the act of attending such lectures, encourage such lectures, enlighten ourselves. We have a long way to go in this country. Let us prefer positive things, not negative things. The social media, it's all about negative things in Nigeria. Senator, thank you. Warm regards from Alhaji Okuno again, and then have a good afternoon, everybody. Thank you.
Just consider I saw your flat was in my people. That's why I need to know.
In appreciation of delivery of a public lecture on the emergency. Today, the 18th day of July 2024, I present
Excellency, sir.
Your Excellency. Sorry. Now. Excellency.
In addition to that, there's a talking gift for Your Excellency. Yeah, thank you. Thank you.
We humbly invite the royal father. We want you, the governor of the state, to please step off for photograph, please. Very well, the vice chairman. The vice chairman, your vice chancellor. Thank you. Your Excellency, this is a presentation from the group of Honorable Chairman of Yoruba Tennis Club, the Vice Chairman of Yoruba Tennis Club will lead the board of council.
Who opened my museum in 1821. I was so proud that he's here. He's my very good friend. And they also came back to Soya and the Professor and all those art collectors are very, very close to me. And I said I was giving to, when I go to Imo State, I see a different thing that the government for what is doing. I have never, we are probably were in Imo State. We got to Abia and now from Ebonyi State. We are from Ebonyi State. There are a lot of committees, SAG or USA, has come for committee of presenting this to you, and I said I was presenting in Lagos. Yes, we was presenting to you in a place. The title is DK Your Number. It's a honor. DK Your Number. You can see that is his name because it's a DK. He went to Bush, kill everything and bring the people to eat. He has brought Abuja to come and succeed the people. He was coming back to him. So when I come in here, I see the house and the village officer and I think I will do it. I said, so come here, I want to do this. This is the person the people want to do, but now we have to do it of ABC. So I am very happy. And Governor General, not only General, but no problem. All right,
Chairman of the Yoruba Tennis Club, I call on the Social Secretary of the Yoruba Tennis Club for the gloves on them and prayer.
Please, the side questions done.
From the heart of the action to your screen, Biscon TV brings you premium coverage like never before. Whether it's high-profile events, breaking news, or exclusive interviews, we are always on the front line, delivering stories with accuracy, speed, and style. Broadcasting on GoTV Channel 144, airing on AIT, and streaming live on YouTube. We take you behind the scenes of the biggest moments, capturing the glitz, the glamour, and the headlines that matter. From star-studded galas to corporate summits, from weddings to political events, we tell the stories that shape our world. At Biscon TV, we bring you in-depth reports, compelling documentaries, and exclusive features that keep you informed and engaged. Our team of seasoned broadcasters and expert journalists ensure you get the news as it breaks with perspectives that matter. Whether it's the boardroom or the red carpet, the stadium or the streets, we are there, bringing you every moment as it unfolds. With crystal clear visuals, expert reporting, and unbeatable coverage, Biscon TV is your go-to station for news, events, and entertainment. We don't just cover stories, we bring them to life, giving you front-row access to history in the making. For premium storytelling, prompt and accurate reporting, and events that shine, stay with the best. Biscon Television, where every moment becomes history. As we proudly step out with profound gratitude to God for guiding our steps and giving us the grace to celebrate the 25th anniversary of the Biscon Show, BOS, the longest-running general interest television magazine show. It's indeed the right time to look at the magic that took the Biscon Show from its very humble beginning to global reckoning against all odds. Before the Biscon Show, BOS, came to the scene, all kinds of events were just thrown on the airwaves without any respect to the sacrosanct ethics that guide broadcasting. The game-changing magic wand that quickly resonated with the public, especially the discerning viewers, is that we brought to bear absolute professionalism in all aspects of broadcasting. All the events must be properly covered, scripted, edited, and voiced by some of the best in the trade to bring a bit of serious-mindedness into what we have decided to term infotainment television broadcasting. In view of the entertainment nature of the Biscon Show, some ardent followers of the show describe it as anti-aging, anti-hypertension, and also helps to take the minds off worries of life, putting one in an upbeat mood most of the times. In the past 25 years, we are happy to say that the Biscon Show BOS archives parade very rich iconic events that date back many decades in all aspects of life. These include social, economic, political, corporate, birthdays, weddings, burials, convocation, coronation, concerts, inauguration, corporate events, and more. The Biscon Show BOS 25th Anniversary Quiz Competition. Watch the Biscon Show BOS closely from now on and choose the best birthday, wedding, burials, coronation, convocation, concerts, festivals, inauguration, and corporate event. Attractive prizes await you as we ask for sponsors for the prizes and the Biscon Show at 25. Entries for the Biscon Show BOS Quiz Competition should be sent to Biscon TV, 12 Sylvia Crescent, Anthony Village. Telephone 0803-390-1756 or 0802-357-0075. You can also email us at bisconcommunications108@gmail.com. Entry closes on January 30th, 2025. The Biscon Show, BOS, the first and still the best, 25 years after.
Hello, folks. I greet you. Welcome to another program in the series, Citizen Jones Today. What we do is simple. We interrogate issues that get thrown up by my country, your country, just so you know. Today, Welcome to River State Incubating Politics, the intrigues, the fluidity, and the extremities. You know, political commentators would have seen it coming when a one-time governor of River State, fondly referred to as the treasure base of the nation, by the name of Dr. Peter Odili, secured a tendentious perpetual injunction from prosecution in March 2007. The pronouncement by Justice Ibrahim Buba of the Federal High Court, Port Harcourt, has not been vacated till this day. Dr. Odili had become the lord of the manor, if you like, a godfather of sorts. Today, a former hemsman, Barrister Nyesom Ezenwa Wike, FCT minister, is now the godfather. His godson and governor of the state, Siminalai Fubara, has become a political lapdog. The Apex Court recently intervened and, following from its pronouncement, got Governor Fubara to fly the olive branch in order to douse tension. First, the lawmakers have dismissed the invitation to a fence-mending party. They claim they were not properly served. Today, the APC chairman in the state, Tony Okocha, wants Fubara to resign or face impeachment. True, politics is not an exact science. Shall we have a conversation, please? My conversationalists are here. You know them. Let's meet and greet them. Majid Jamiu is a journalist and a political commentator. I greet you, Majid. Welcome.
Thank you. Good morning.
He's joined by Fred Nzako, an attorney at law, development economist. He also is a politician. I greet you, Fred. Welcome.
Thank you, Jones. Good being with you.
Yeah, folks, so what's playing out in River State is not new. It's not Greek to anybody. So who takes the lead off?
Well, it's not new, Jones, and but the direction is going seems new to so many people. How do I say it? Seems surprising to so many people. We know that there has always been an issue between a godfather and a political godson in Nigeria. We saw it play out in so many states, so many states, almost in all states of Nigeria. But when the issue becomes so much that the people of the state now are no longer brought into the equation, the only thing that the politicians are around considering the power, their self-interest, their political structure, in quote. Remember that was what caused the problem. And what that structure means is yet to be explained to the people of River State. And issues all about they themselves and their interests. That makes it a very worrisome trend.
Okay, so when we say
the trend in Rivers.
Yeah, in politics, there are no permanent friends or permanent enmities,
yes,
but permanent interests.
Permanent interests.
That's what is playing out.
But such interest now does not even contemplate or consider the interests of the people. It is only
which should be paramount.
Which naturally should be paramount. But all the interest we are seeing today is the interest of the political gladiators.
Fred, government don't learn. We hear that only people do.
Yes, government don't learn, but government should be for the people. And who is government? Government is drawn from the people. In any particular environment, it is the same people that make the government.
Okay.
And that is why the government, so speaking, should serve the people. Because the whole idea is the people, anybody in government is drawn by the people, especially in representative democracy. The people now come together and surrender their individual authorities and say, you lead us.
Yeah.
They give you that trust. They give you that mandate. They give you that vote and that support. And then you are now constituted as a government. So that is why whenever government is detached from the people, it becomes an anathema.
Okay.
It becomes unacceptable. As we have today in River State, the political gladiators are not thinking for the welfare and interest of the people at all. They're only looking at themselves as if the rest of the people who voted them are their slaves. And of course, that is not acceptable in democracy.
Yeah, Majid, godfatherism in politics is a universal phenomenon. But you get the impression in Nigeria, godfathers are substitutes for democracy. They are substitutes.
The kind of system kind of politics we play in Nigeria, there's no way you can avoid godfatherism. Recall that this same Fubara was not even involved in the electioneering at all, to let you know that yes, godfatherism played a key role. He was declared wanted by the EFCC. He was the Accountant General of the state, and probably throughout the campaign he only showed up in a few places. He was in hiding. But then, like Barrister said, we have seen what godfatherism has done in several states. Okay. The only place where godfatherism has worked is Lagos.
Okay.
I mean, and it is because
relatively.
Relatively. And because you see that when, I mean, even during the first time of Fashola, who succeeded, who was the immediate successor to Ashwaju, at a point, it became frosty.
Yeah.
Going towards the Fashola second term in 2007.
So when Baba yielded to superior logic, you think he was playing politics?
Of course, he held the House of Assembly.
Okay. So the aces were with him?
With him. He held the House of Assembly. So that's why he was able to hold Lagos. And when Ambode came, Ambode wanted to be a man of his own.
Yeah.
But because the assembly was with Tinubu, I mean, they dangled the impeachment stick. No, not carrot. It's stick. It could be carrot or stick.
Okay.
when the impeachment stick was dangled,
he became cowed.
He became calm. So, and he only spent one term. So Sanwo-Olu was able to learn from that. And you can see what is evolving now with the House of Assembly in Lagos. Lagos is the only state where a governor cannot say, I'm in charge of the House of Assembly. Yes, so Fubara's attempt to say he's in charge of the assembly has backfired, because he has a contender in his predecessor and godfather, quote unquote, who put him there. And you might not like Fayose, but the man is like Nostradamus. He saw this coming and he warned Fubara on the last the farewell dinner of a Wike. He said, Fubara, fair Wike, oh, there are some things you should not, don't see beyond what you are supposed to see.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm quoting him now. But when Fubara started seeing more than he could see, he started seeing spirits. And the thing dragged on. It didn't take up to 3 months before they went different ways. But today, it's like momentarily Wike has won, especially with the 27 lawmakers now who hold the key to the assembly.
Yeah.
Up until now, Fubara was dealing with the 3-man assembly. But so godfatherism in politics, I think our politicians should learn that it cannot always work. See, the position of a governor, I have worked with a governor before, Citizen Jones. I know how powerful a governor is. The governor that collects the least security votes in Nigeria today collects probably about 500 million per month. In some states,
unaccounted for.
Unaccounted for. They spend it the way they want. You can't question it. And it is, whether salaries are paid or not, it is first line charge. That's the first thing they take out. And we have some states that collect up to 3 billion, between 3 and 4 billion per month security.
You are talking about Rivers, Akwa Ibom.
Correct.
Bayelsa.
Delta. Probably Lagos, Kano. So those states, a governor who sees 3 billion every month, you don't have to steal it. Money is power. Citizen Jones. The only thing they won't allow a governor to do is to, the only things they allow a governor to do is if he wants to go and weep or to go and poo. Any other thing, they will do it for you. Just say it and it happens. So that kind of person sees himself as next to God. He's only a governor that has the power of life and death. Even a judge, if a judge sentences somebody, he needs a judge to sign.
And the man on the street has failed to understand that, constitutionally speaking, Mr. President, as the #1 citizen, cannot sign a death warrant.
Only a governor. So that power gets into some of them, and they forget their humble beginnings. But in Rivers today, I think Fubara has eaten the humble pie. Because at the point, when he was governor, he said their breathing and their existence of the House of Assembly, they should thank him for it.
You mean when Wike said?
Yes.
He said he was the one that sponsored
all of them. But he said
to the federal house.
To the federal house. He said, but today, but I think the story is changing. But the lesson in all of this is that those godfathers too, they should know that, you see, it is God Almighty that is the
ultimate.
Is the ultimate. Look at Akpabio, this Senate president, left the politicians in Akwa Ibom. He went to Zenith Bank to bring Udom Emmanuel. He said, this one will not understand politics. They brought him. In 3 months, Udom Emmanuel chased Akpabio out of the state. Peter Obi, when he was leaving, he didn't want to entrust the state to a politician. He went to bring Obiano. Yes.
Willie
Obiano.
Yeah.
In less than 6 months.
The man left the
Obiano said, don't mind him. He said he left 75 billion. It's all fraud. Though. He has sold everything. It is the state is in red. So we can go on and on and on. The latest one is that of El-Rufai
So Rivers State is a metaphor for what's happening across board.
Across board. So it's not only Rivers. The seat of a governor is so powerful that it is difficult to put them in check. You can't control a governor. But Wike is lucky because, quote and unquote, he has federal backing. If Wike were not to be a minister and the kind of politics he's playing today, of course, Fubara will run him out of town. In fact, those 27 lawmakers would have been with Fubara.
He would have been in the cold.
Yes, he would have been in the cold. But the kind of the position Wike holds in Abuja, so to say, is able to use it to his advantage.
Yeah, Fred, it is the so-called first Antichrist, Napoleon Bonaparte, who said, in politics, when your enemy is making a mistake, do not interrupt him. Do we think Fubara is making a mistake politically?
Fubara, I don't think is making a mistake. Rather,
why I'm asking is, Mr. President waded in. He gave an 8-point plan.
Term of reference.
Yes. And the opinion was divided in Rivers. Do it, don't do them. Or you are
the governor.
But the information we got is that the governor did all that was expected of him.
Yet, he's not home and dry.
Yet, he was still not given the breather that he was expecting. That's the information we are getting, that the assailant to those terms of reference is the governor's opponent and godfather. Godfather who became the opponent in chief. that is the one that was assailing those terms of reference. That the governor did all that was expected of him. Now, even as we speak, what makes it look as if the governor is eating the humble pie is because he has said he will respect the judgment of the court.
The Supreme Court.
Especially the last one that was given by the Supreme Court, which so many legal minds had criticized as not bringing the judgment, the justice required in that judgment. Essentially because the Supreme Court seemed to have gone outside.
But Fred, you and I and Moji cannot forget that the late Justice Chukwudifo Oputa said, we are not final because we are
supreme.
We are not infallible because we are final. We are.
That they are not supreme because they are infallible, but they are infallible
because they are supreme. Otherwise, what comes from this chamber is like gospel.
Is the last point.
It's like the oracle.
Is the last point. Is the last point. Is as if the oracle has spoken. And you cannot query it.
So be it.
You cannot query it. You cannot. But politicians have a way of sidestepping it. I'll give you an example.
You say they want explanation.
The Supreme Court gave a judgment that every local government must be autonomous, financially and otherwise.
Yeah.
The question now is: are they autonomous financially? Even as we speak, they are not.
What happens to the joint account?
That is the issue.
One,
the joint account has not allowed them such autonomy as pronounced by the Supreme Court. Two, their recruitment pattern has also not allowed such opportunity. Because the recruitment pattern, there's no local government election that is credible in Nigeria. None. No exception out of the 30 states.
Of course.
And what the governors do is that they ensure that they put in their
lackeys.
That cannot even raise a voice. You remember the last time a local government chairman thought that they'll say in your place that the crayfish thinks himself big, just acting like fish. Local government chairman thought himself big and wanted to express his independence. He ended up.
Okay, you are talking about the
Ogun State.
Yeah. Interestingly, our colleague.
So eventually, at the end of the day, he had to go and kneel down, prostrate and beg.
He realized
for forgiveness.
At that point he was standing alone.
And when he realized that he was standing alone, that was when it dawned on him that he was not fish but crayfish. So he had to go and bend down. So even up to tomorrow, the local government system is still being run in that way. So that judgment has been sidestepped, has been circumvented, and the governors are now having their own field way, the way they usually do. Now, with that judgment on Rivers matter, the Supreme Court, in a manner of speaking, had closed their eye against the defection by the 27 lawmakers. Of course, they say the law is an ass. Why do they say so? The Supreme Court said the matter had not been brought before them. So, as far as they are concerned, that those men are still members of the House of Assembly. Because the issue of determination of their status is still at the High Court. And we expected that such issue that should be of national and state importance should have been thrashed out and should have been expedited. Now, from the issue that was brought before the court, which was the issue of appropriation, the 2024 budget that these other men are saying, come and lay it before us. And you went and laid it before four others. Four. Before others. When you take away the speaker, Ogodumbo, the rest will be members of Rivers State, citizens of Rivers State that will fill it all. But the legislators themselves will be just 3. But you see, the technicality in that thing is this. The men defected. By provision of the Section 109 of our Constitution, the Speaker then, Edison a year, declared their seat vacant. Going by what the Constitution said. If the governor went to present the budget before them, the governor technically would have presented the budget before the wrong people. The governor now came to the house.
So he was not properly advised.
No, he did what he was supposed to do. Meanwhile, the constitution says before you spend the real estate money, present it before the house.
Before the house.
He came before the house and met 4 people.
Was that the house?
That was the house.
As at that time.
As at that time. That was the house. The other 27 had left the house. Their seats were vacant. You remember during the COVID era, when footballers would be playing in the field and then imaginary people would be in the stadium, in the stands. All right?
They'll be playing music.
They'll be playing music. And then clapping and shouting. Simulated presence. It was simulated presence of those 27 that were in the house. They had left. You don't blame the governor. Now, on one side of the law says you present the budget to at least 2/3 majority of members of the house.
Yeah.
That is where the law again is an ass. When you say 2/3 majority, it did not contemplate
a situation
where 27 had left. So who are now the 2/3? You are now calculating 2/3 of 4. And the governor was right to have presented it before 100% of them, 4 of them that we met in the house. Those is like, I'm coming to your house to come and give you kola nut. And I come to your house, you are not there. But I must deliver that kola nut. Your son came out. I gave him the kola nut and went away. Would you say I didn't deliver kola nut? The governor presented the budget. Now, in all of this, one expected that when there is a matter of urgent state or national importance, the judiciary will rise to the occasion, handle it with the urgency it deserves, so that the matter and the issue will be settled. But politics will always work against truth.
Yeah.
That is the problem we have in Nigeria.
Otherwise,
the clash between politics and truth.
Majid, otherwise in Nigeria, our politics is one between right and left, not between right and wrong, if you understand.
Yeah, it's not between right and wrong. It's between right and left.
The way somebody described the Supreme Court judgment on Rivers is that he said it's like there's a thin line between justice and the rule of law. Yes, he said whether justice was delivered or whether the rule of law was followed.
Majid, do you remember a former United States Supreme Court Chief Justice said, "My friend, we are a court of law, not a court of justice." So whatever the Supreme Court is serving is based on
law.
On law, what the law says.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Based on law.
So
are we a long way from home in Rivers State?
You know, it's a very complex dynamics that we have in Rivers, like he has explained now. Because I listened to senior advocate of Nigeria, Femi Falana, on this matter when the state government withdrew its case about a month ago, when the Supreme Court struck out that case because of the passage of time. It said, this is 2025. I'm talking about 2024 budgets. And Falana's explanation then was that, yes, the 3 or 4 people formed a quorum. Yes, and that Fubara was right. So based on that, he advised that the case being withdrawn from court. So for somebody of Falana's status, I mean, senior advocate of Nigeria, and with all the name and the mind, we would think yes. But pronto, the Supreme Court came and said, no, Fubara, go to the 27th that in the eyes of the law, the 27 guys with Amafele are still members because their names are still on the register of PDP. It is not yet in the register of the APC. So they are
Mujib, I think, sorry for this intervention. The Supreme Court did not base their judgment on the register of any political party, because if they did, then they would have committed travesty of justice. For any matter to come to Supreme Court, that matter must have touched the Court of Appeal.
Yes.
Yeah.
Must. But that is the hierarchy of courts.
Yeah.
The appellate court.
Yes. So the issue of the status of these 27 lawmakers had not even come out from the High Court. It had not touched the Court of Appeal and had not moved to the Supreme Court.
So it means we still have a very long
what the
way.
Supreme Court did was that they played what we call judicial politics by closing their eyes. But of course, to a large extent, you won't blame them, because if they did not, they may be accused of, again, playing politics. But the 2024 budget that became an issue, by the time we came to 2025, it became a mere academic exercise.
Yes.
And if the Supreme Court had told the governor, go and present your budget before the House of Assembly and stop it at that, I personally will not quarrel with the Supreme Court.
Yeah.
But for Supreme Court to say, go and present it before Martin
Amawele, very specific.
That is politics. That is judicial politics.
Okay.
Go and present it before Martin Amewule.
Yes.
That means that Supreme Court has in one judgment touched another issue. Yes, we know that in judgment of courts, there is what we call primary and secondary.
They have answered a prayer that was not
The
sought.
Supreme Court answered a prayer that was not sought. Pure and simple. The consequential issues that arose from that judgment was a very fundamental issue that was still lying in the court below.
Yeah. Majid, you know, the popular saying is, anybody who tells you don't let small things bother you has not slept under a mosquito net with one of those idiots in that net.
I'll be thinking,
you won't sleep. You won't sleep a wink, you know. So back to Rivers. The APC at the other end is saying to the governor, resign or you get impeached. There are folks who would say, don't let such a thing bother you. But can you wave that away?
No, for Okocha-led APC, yes, that's his style. Any peace-loving Nigerian, not even Rivers Indians now, won't want that kind of thing to happen in Rivers. Me, I am against impeachment, because if it happens, I mean, the consequences are far more grave and greater than whatever we can imagine. I mean, it's a long process, but then, see, we'll be inviting anarchy if they take it to that level. See, for me, the communication might be wrong. The way Fubara communicated is rapprochement, his invitation to the assembly might be wrong, but then he has waved the first olive branch. Yes, Fubara might not. What stops him? Okay, let him personally sign that letter, if that's what will bring peace. Yes, it was the SSG that's signed the first letter. Okay, they said no, it was not proper. Okay, let him personally sign it if it will make them happy. And if they don't want to come to government house, he should go and meet them, because the Supreme Court is very clear. Present the budget to them, and you must present. To obey the Supreme Court. So,
and the governor had said, in deference to the pronouncement of the Apex Court, I'm going to do this.
So, it's we should be looking for peace in Rivers now. So that ultimatum from the factional APC, of course, which the Emeka faction has also condemned. There are so many. There's the PDP in Rivers, there is the new APC, then there is the Emeka APC, the Victorian. So it's like so many groups, so many contending. In fact, we have the elders, we have the stakeholders, we have also, at a point, the governor had to leave his abandon his PDP. He used others. I used another platform, I think APP, yes, to conduct the local government election, which has now even been annulled.
Yeah.
So that one is another case that is like
a low-hanging fruit.
That's building.
Yeah.
Whether it's still going to use the APP for this new date that has been scheduled, or he will not, now that he has control of PDP, whether he will use the PDP. So there's still so much to unpack.
Otherwise, he has no choice but play ball.
On this one,
yeah,
he has to play ball. But that's why I said the stakeholders in the state, the elders, this is the time for them to come in and save that state, so that that elephant, quote and unquote, will not suffer when this so that the grasses won't suffer. That's the masses when these elephants are fighting.
Barrister Nzako, let me tease you a little. It's still related to it. I said in my prologue at the beginning, former Governor Odili was giving a perpetual injunction. On point of law, is that legal? Is it proper to perpetually exclude anybody from being prosecuted?
Like when you put a DND, do not disturb.
There's nothing wrong with it. What is wrong
with the pronouncement?
There's nothing wrong with the pronouncement. What is wrong is that why would there be such an injunction?
Okay.
The court would pronounce based on what you have prayed. And
what
if the other
presented
party
before
it, and if the other party is not against your prayer,
yeah,
then the court will grant it.
Yes.
The question is, why would the other party not go against
not challenge it in the appellate court, for example?
And why would the matter not be tested at the appellate court?
Yeah.
Because the whole thing was at the high court. It ended there. And today you cannot regurgitate it because time has lapsed.
So Dr. Peter Odili remains perpetually
undisturbed.
Yes, now because I mean you can only challenge after 14 days.
Yes.
And this thing now is almost how many years?
How many years? So they're perpetually undisturbed. Just like other presidents of the country. Is there any president of this country that has ever been disturbed? Just imagine it. Apart from Shagari era.
Yeah.
That the military under
the military that probes.
Under Buhari
investigated
and then dragged them here and there. Even some of them were at the end of the day, a lot of them were given clean slate.
Yeah.
People like
I remember
Alex Ekwueme.
I remember
that the tribunal said that he even lost his personal wealth while serving Nigeria.
Yeah, I remember that Jim Nwobodo was given a 300-year jail.
Many of those governors were given, and the way they will announce it, 300 years, 500 years.
Yes, they were just doling out the years as if it's...
You wonder if they were calendar years.
So, but ever since then, no former head of state or president had ever been questioned. So, Odili is in that class. But even though Odili's own was handed over to him by the court, these other presidents, their own was handed over to them by the society.
Yeah.
Society that had refused to ask questions.
So go and sin no more.
Society that has been so intimidated that the institutions of the system will not ask questions. That is where we are. It's only if one is not alive. They say Abacha loot. What of the Babangida loot? What of Obasanjo's loot? What of Buhari's loot?
Abu Salami.
What of Abu Salami's loot? Where is Jonathan's loot? And all of them.
Even Obasanjo.
What if Buhari's own? Both military and the civilian. It is only Abacha that looted. Because the man is not. Because the man is no more. You want to tell me that this man was alive? Even this recent indictment by Babangida in his book, you think that if Abacha was alive, Babangida will write that thing that is now causing a code battle between Babangida and Abacha family.
Yeah.
They said the Abacha family came up and said, you should stop disturbing us.
Yes.
Our father was not the CNC. Yes. You were the CNC.
Yes.
Tell Nigerians what happened to
you were calling
Tell Nigerians what happened to the annulment of the election.
Yeah.
All right? And if Babangida was sincere, at least he would have made a mention of Humphrey Nwosu in that book. The man that conducted the freest and the fairest election
which he admitted.
in the history of which he admitted
and
in the history of Nigeria, and he intentionally
Yeah.
sidetracked Humphrey. Despite the fact maybe his conscience was pricking him, because when Humphrey insisted on announcing those results, he used some soldiers to arrest Humphrey and manhandled him.
Yeah.
Humphrey says so in his own memoir.
So
that ghost is still haunting the
a military governor of Kano State that slapped Humphrey Nwosu.
Yes. So those are the untold stories. And up to today, he has not even told Nigerians why he annuled that election.
All right, folks. Let's take this discussion to a close now. First, Majid, how do you take the story home? It is still a river state of intrigues, fluidity, and anything goes. Anything is possible in River State.
Yeah, my advocacy will still be they should sit down at the round table to resolve this crisis, because now they have quarreled, they have gone to courts. I mean, it has ended at the Supreme Court. They should put the interest of the masses, I mean, forward on the front burner, and sit down, and all this grandstanding to stop. The governor has eaten the humble pie. He's now calm, quiet. He says he's ready to pay all the allowances.
Yeah.
He's ready to meet with them, to give them a befitting place to sit, and of course to also present the budget. So they should hear him out.
Okay,
that's my own.
Fred, how do you take it home?
Yes, there's an adage in my place that says when a woman wants to find trouble from his co-wife, she will ask that co-wife to give her palm oil with which to eat palm fruit. Can you give me some palm oil?
Palm oil, palm fruit.
To eat palm fruit. That simply tells you that she's looking for one trouble or the other from your own end. If the House of Assembly members are claiming that the letter that came from SSG to them was not adequately and appropriately sent to them because it was signed by the Secretary of the Government of the state and not the governor, it simply tells you that they are that woman that is looking for palm oil with me to eat from palm fruit. And I want to join Mojid in this advocacy that the people of Rivers should matter to this man, to everybody who has been given mandate and authority to represent at any level, be that at the state, local government, or at the federal level. It's a unique trust that they hold for the people. And they should not mess up that mandate. They should not mess up that trust. They should calm down on their ego and remember that there are people who need good governance in River State. And there's no way such good governance will come with this kind of primitive battle that they are fighting. I call it primitive because any act that does not consider the welfare of others or the welfare of humanity, apart from narcissistic interest of the fighter, narcissistic interest of the fighter, is a very primitive battle. That's exactly what they're doing in Rivers. So they should remember the Rivers people, think of how best to serve them, because while we have today, they should remember that there is tomorrow.
Sure.
Okay, then let's apply the brakes here, but not before asking that continue with the debate, and don't forget, politics, it is said, determines who has the power, not who has the truth. The facts in the case involving politicians, the governor and the politicians in River State, the facts are bare, and they themselves know. But the people are, they hold the ace. I want to thank Majid Jamiu for your time.
Thank you very much.
Barrister Fred Nzako for your intervention. Thank you.
Thank you.
So we are done. Until the next time, take care of yourself. Bye-bye now.
Biscon Communication Global Media Network Limited, the emerging media conglomerate. Biscon Communication are the creators of the BC Olatilo Show, BOS, a weekly general interest television magazine show which showcases the cultures and ways of life of Nigerians to the world. As Prince BC Olatilo, the multilingual ace broadcaster, marks his golden jubilee anniversary in broadcasting, the BC Olatilo Show, BOS, celebrates 25 years of leading the way as the prime choice in infotainment television broadcasting. Biscon Communication Global Media Network Limited expands its broadcasting landscape with Biscon TV, our 24-hour television platform on GoTV 144 and live streaming on YouTube globally. Biscon TV broadcasts news, sports, business, politics, as well as lifestyle and entertainment programs round the clock. Biscon TV has a very strong presence on all platforms of the social media, Instagram, Facebook, on the BOS Official. Biscon Communications has ultra-modern state-of-the-art audio-visual studios for the production of radio and TV jingles, documentaries for public enlightenment programs, for government, parastatals, and corporate concerns. Biscon Communication Corporate Headquarters is at 12 Sylvia Crescent, Anthony Village. Telephone 0803 390 1756. 0802-357-0075. Biscon Communications at your service 24 hours around the clock.
Handsome governor ever in Nigeria. And also, ladies and gentlemen, a great honor today to present to some and introduce to you a man that has continued to fight indefatigably drug abuse in Nigeria. The mention of his name alone make the hands of drug traffickers to start pounding in. Ladies and gentlemen, honor for me to introduce to you General Mohammed Buba Marwa, the CEO of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency. Thank you so much. A lot of eminent dignitaries we have with us here today. Ladies and gentlemen, we have our trustees, the custodians of...
Good afternoon and welcome to Highland Club Business Luncheon. It's an honor and privilege to stand before such an esteemed gathering as we delve into one of the most pressing issues of our time, drug abuse in Nigeria, challenges and solutions. Drug abuse is a menace that has infiltrated every layer of our society, threatening our youth, destabilizing families, and undermining the socio-economic fabric of our nation. Today, we are gathered not only to discuss its devastating impact, but more importantly, to explore practical, sustainable solutions to this epidemic. We are deeply honored to have as our keynote speaker General Mohammed Buba Marwa, CON, the distinguished chairman and CEO of the Nigerian Drug Law Enforcement Agency. General Marwa's unwavering commitment to combating drug abuse and his wealth of experience in tackling this scourge inspire us all. In addition to our keynote address, today's program features other notable speakers who will address critical sub-themes related to drug abuse. Following their presentations, we will host a panel discussion where these experts will provide deeper insights and actionable strategies to curb these challenges. It is also significant that we have young students in attendance today. You represent the future of this nation. And your participation emphasizes the importance of proactive education and awareness in the fight against drug abuse. To our royal fathers and government officials, your presence today signifies a collective resolve in tackling this scourge. Addressing drug abuse requires the collaboration of all stakeholders, policymakers, law enforcement agents, traditional institutions, civil society, and the private sector. This event exemplifies what Island Club has stood for since inception: a hub for meaningful discourse, community engagement, and solution-driven dialogue. I encourage everyone to listen attentively, ask questions, and contribute meaningfully to today's discussion. As we embark on this journey today, let us remember that the fight against drug abuse is not just about enforcement or legislation. It is about building a society that offers hope, opportunities, and support its citizens. Together, we can create a Nigeria where our young people can thrive, free from the shadow of addiction. Thank you once again for joining us today. Let us make this a transformative and impactful session. Thank you very much.
Strategies for curbing medicine and drug abuse in Nigeria. I'm a pharmacist, so I will speak like a pharmacist. So, about 2,650 years ago, first slide, sorry, no problem. I think I can, it's not connected. Or maybe it cannot. Yeah, I'm using it. Okay, it's moving now. It's moving. Thank you. About 2,650 years ago, there's an African called Imhotep. Imhotep is actually the original father of pharmacy and medicine. But about 2,200 years later after his death, because an African, a Greek man, went to Egypt to study medicine. And that person's name is called Hippocrates. And that is the one that is more renowned in text and in books. Otherwise, Imhotep is the real father of pharmacy and medicine. And he was a polymath, a physician, an architect, a pharmacist. He introduced ways to extract medicines from medicinal products. And his approach was an harmonization and intersection of science and nature. So side effect was minimal, because anything that comes from nature does not have as much serious side effect as synthetic medicines. Imhotep first pioneered the use of plant-based medicine, and his vision revolved around healing and ethical practice. He could not have foreseen the current challenges that we have, stemming from misuse, stemming from overprescription, stemming from illicit trade of pharmaceutical products. And these issues are evolved due to complexity of modern medicine, socio-economic disparities, and societal pressures. Today, we now have misuse of medicines, we have illicit drug trade, we have addiction epidemic, and it is getting clearer to all of us that it's increasing at an abnormal level. And when we look at about 14.3 million people between the ages of 15 and 64, I was sitting beside Dr. Onega, who is here to represent the Lagos State Commissioner. And we were just chatting. And we recollect that even in primary school, people are already testing substances. So, and it is clear about 14.4% of Nigerians aged between 15 to 64, or about 14.3 million people, have used drugs at least once in the past year, according to UNODC's comprehensive survey. And this rate is notably higher than what you normally see in the global average of about 5.6%. Some of the commonly used substances include cannabis, prescription opioids, such as codeine, tramadol, cough